Hey, are you ready for your first geometry test? I'm going to help you get ready for it right now. This is my geometry test. I'll go through and show you all the questions, give you a moment to try them, and then I'm going to show you how to do them all. I'm Tammy. I do Math for Coffee on YouTube now, but I taught geometry for like 1,000 years. My test probably won't be identical to your teacher's test, but it's going to be pretty close. And I'm sure you're going to do well if you can do all the questions that are on my test. So let's start. So this is a segment addition question, and we're supposed to find the length of TS, which is this piece right here. Right now we know it's 2x plus 28, but we don't know what x is, so we got to try to set up some kind of an equation. Well, the entire thing is given to be x plus 27. So to set up the equation, just think about this. The 2x plus the 28 plus that 10 must be the same as the x plus 27. So once you do that, you're done with the geometry. Now we're going to do a little bit of algebra. Let me simplify this. So I have 2x plus 38 equals x plus 27. And now you have variable on both sides. I like to subtract off the smaller variable, and that would be just the 1x. 2x minus x is just going to leave me with 1x plus 38 equals 27. And now we subtract 38. And we end up with x equals negative 11. Yay! Are we done? Yeah, you're going to probably get that wrong if you stop here, but you didn't do anything wrong. It's just, I want to know how long this pink piece is here. Right over here. So, I'm going to pop that in there. 2 times negative 11 plus 28. So we get negative 22 plus 28, and we end up with the answer is 6. So TS equals 6. That is finishing the problem. Minus 11, not wrong, just not finished. Next problem. Pause and give this a try. You're looking for the wrong name, so we're checking to see if you know how to name angles. Choose the wrong name. Let's take a look at what we got. Here's the angle that we're trying to name. This is the vertex, and if you have 3 letters in the angle name, the middle letter needs to be the vertex. So let's look at our choices. Can you call this just angle M? Yeah, you can. You can do that because there's only one angle here. And if you name an angle by its vertex, that's fine. You can also call it angle 4 because they put a little 4 there. NML, NML, yeah, that's okay because the M is in the middle. And M is in the middle on this one too. So the only one that isn't going to work is this one, D. This is a vocabulary question. So you just need to know what we call a 180-degree angle besides 180 degrees. That means you need to know what all these words are. Acute is an angle that is less than 90 degrees. Right is an angle that is actually equal to a 90 degrees. Exactly. Not 89, not 91, 90. Obtuse is an angle that's bigger than 90 but less than 180. And a straight angle is 180. So the correct answer here is D. Try this one. That looks pretty complicated. What do we got going here? We have to find x. Good. Angle, VUL, is 7x minus 6. Well, where is VUL? This is what we're talking about. And that's this angle right here, VUL. So this guy is the 7x minus 6. If you can draw on your paper, draw on your paper. It helps a lot. LUT is the other part of this. LUT is this angle. And that is 6 plus 13x. Okay, those two together make up the whole thing, which is going to be 160. So that's what we got to do. We're going to add those two together and make it equal to 160. And let's clean this up, simplify a little bit. This 6 and this -6 cancel each other out. Woohoo! 13x plus 7x is 20x, and that equals 160. Now let's divide both sides by 20. And 160 divided by 20 is 8. X equals 8. And you didn't have to plug this one back in because the question is asking us if we would just please find x, and we did. All right, try this one. Again, we got to look at these angles right here. So A and B, are they a linear pair? Well, a linear pair are two angles that are sitting right next to each other, and when you add them up, we're going to make a straight angle 180. They make a straight line when you add those together. That's not what's going on here. Adjacent just means two angles that are next to each other. They don't have to add up to anything, but these two are not right next to each other at all. Corresponding, you haven't learned that yet. You're going to learn that in the next unit. Vertical, across from each other. Well, that's these two. And if you remember the lesson that I did, I talked about a bow tie. If you see a bow tie, that's vertical angles. They are across from each other. And then obviously none of these isn't the case because the correct answer is D, vertical. Try this one. We're supposed to find the measure of angle B, and the big hint they give us here is that we've got a 90-degree angle here in the corner. That means the 28 plus B has to equal 90 degrees. Subtract the 28 from both sides, and B equals 62 degrees. Something like this, your danger on a test is that you're going to think it's harder than it is. So look out for that sort of thing. Nerves make us think everything is harder than it is. Try this one. These two make a linear pair, and that's going to add up to 180 degrees. So 6x plus 84 equals 180. So if I subtract 84 from both sides, I am going to come up with 6x equal to 96. Now divide both sides by 6, and we get x equal to 16, and that's all we were asked to do. Yeehaw! Try it. I'll be right back. These two angles are vertical angles, and vertical angles are equal to each other. The word for that is congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. So set 4x plus 3 equal to 83. Geometry done. Now you do the algebra. Subtract 3 from both sides. We're going to get 4x equals 80. Now divide both sides by 4. X equals 20. Try it. Find the midpoint of the line segment with the given endpoints. Give it a go. I'll be right back. Wait for me if you're not sure how to start. Midpoint. We know that this is an x-coordinate and this is an x-coordinate. If we plotted these two, there would be a straight line between them, and you want to find the middle of that line. But the middle is also the same thing as the average. So one thing you can do to find the middle is just add -4 plus 5 and split it in half. That's going to give you the middle. And we can do the same thing with the y's. 0 plus 4, split it in half. Whatever we get when we do these two pieces of math are going to be our answer. So -4 plus 5 is going to be a 1, so that's 1 over 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So our midpoint, the x-coordinate is going to be 1/2, and the y-coordinate is going to be 2. If you need to review that, go down to the description, and there'll be a link to my video on midpoints and why that works the way it does. People forget this stuff. All right, another midpoint question. Give it a shot, and if you're not sure what to do, wait for me. All right, so here's what we got going here. M is the midpoint of PQ. So here's M. It's in the middle of some segment that starts at P and ends at Q. It means that these two halves are equal to each other. PM is 8x minus 5. I'm going to put that right here. MQ is 3x plus 40, and I'm going to put that right here. And that's all you know. They're not giving you the length of the whole thing. They're not giving you any other information at all. But because it's a midpoint, it's kind of magical. It means that these two are split in half, and so these two pieces are actually equal to each other. That's the geometry. Your algebra equation is going to be 8x minus 5 equals 3x plus 40. Not everybody's going to need the diagram, but in geometry, especially on exams, drawing pictures is super helpful to see how things are related. All right, let's start solving. Subtract 3x from both sides. And we end up with 8x minus 3x is 5x. Bring the minus 5 down equals, the 3x's are going to cancel, and we end up with 40. If you need to review how to solve equations, I'll put a link down in the description somewhere for that as well. And now we're going to add 5 to both sides. If I add 5 to this side, the 5 cancels. 40 plus 5 is 45. Now divide both sides by 5, and we get x equals 9. And that's all they asked us to do. We could go farther, though. Like, you could substitute the x in and find out how long these pieces are. But we don't need to do that because they didn't ask us to. This is a very specific kind of problem you may see. It can be a little tricky. Give it a shot. I'll be right back. All right, here's how I taught my students to do this. You've got endpoints and midpoints. That means you have a segment. We're going to pop these points on here and fill in what we know and then figure out what we're going to do with that. So if one of the endpoints is negative 6, 7, the midpoint is 6, negative 8. So we want to find out what they're asking you to do, which could be like one of the questions is like, what the heck are they asking me? They want you to figure out what this point is over here. Now remember how midpoints work. You add the x's together. So this negative 6 plus this x divided by 2 ended up becoming this 6. So negative 6 plus x divided by 2 equals the 6. I'm going to go ahead and solve that right now before I make it any, before we do the y's. If you're going to solve an equation like this, you need to multiply both sides by 2 first to clear this fraction. Algebra. Hopefully you paid attention last year in algebra. If you didn't, that's okay. I got videos for you. You can get caught up. Now, add 6 to both sides. This is a negative 6, so you want to clear that out. You're going to have to add 6 to both sides. So we end up with x equals 12 plus 6. I added 6 to both sides. This canceled. The 6 is there. We end up with x equals 18. So that's half of our answer. They want to know what the x value is right here. It has to be 8 right here. This has to be 18. 18 plus negative 6 is 12, and 12 split in half is 6. You got to do a few of these before you see how it works. If you have homework on this that you didn't do, go do it. All right, let's do the y's. So one of my y's is 7. The other one is just y. But when I put those together and split them in half, it's supposed to be negative 8. So 7 plus y divided by 2 is negative 8. Multiply both sides by 2, just like the last time, because we're always dividing by 2 when you're working with a midpoint. And then that cancels. We get 7 plus y equals negative 16. Now I'm going to subtract 7 from the negative 16, and my y is going to be negative 23. So not the midpoint, we know that one, but this point right here is the x is 18 and the y is negative 23. You need to review that for sure, probably. So I'll put a link down below to the video that did that. Okay, try this one. Given points F, -5, 3, and G, 10, 8, partition FG, segment FG, at point P for a 3:2 ratio. I understand that that's probably not even sounding like English, but give it a shot. You might know how to do it. If you don't, wait for me. I'll be right back. When I teach my kids how to do this, I do not do this drawn to scale. I don't plot points. It just makes it more complicated. I just make a little helping line here. Now, we need to find a point that puts it into a 3:2 ratio. But this 3:2 ratio is the confusing part. Well, what does that mean? It means you're going to split this line not in half like a midpoint, but you're going to split it into 5 parts. The 5 comes from adding the 3 and the 2. 3 plus 2 is 5. So before I do anything more, I'm just going to put in some scratch marks and split this into 5 parts. That means you're going to put in 4 little marks because you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. It's like a sub sandwich that you get, from the deli, and then you split it up into 5 parts. That's what we just did. Now the P, the point we're looking for, is where you have 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3:2 ratio. 3 parts to 2 parts. We need to find this piece right here, this point, the coordinates of it. This is what it looks like on a scratch diagram. So let's do the math and find it. All right, so F is our starting point, and G is where we're supposed to land. That's an XY, and that's an XY. So how long are each one of these parts? Because that's what we need to figure out. So the length of the X's is going to be the total distance between -5 and 10, and then you'll divide that into 5 parts. Well, the total distance is going to be 10 minus the -5 divided by 5. If you had to start at -5 and go up to the 10, you would have to go 15 steps, right? You'd have to go -5 to 0 and then 10 more. So that's 15. But if you understand this subtraction, you understood this double negative changes into a plus. So we ended up with 15. Dividing that by 5 is 3. So that means that each X is going to go up 3 units. So if you started at -5, -5 plus 3 would put you at -2. So this would be -2. -5 plus 3 is -2. Then you add 3 to the -2 to go up 3 more, and you get a 1. So the X value for this point will be 1. -2 plus 3 is 1. And then add 3 to the 1, and we're at the point where we want to be at, which is 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. And if you added 3 to 4, if we keep going just to check our work, this would become a 7. And then if you add 3 to this 7, that's going to give you the 10. So the X's are all set up. Now we have to do the same thing for the Y's. This point is moving from 3 up to 8. We still need to divide that into 5 parts as well. The length of the Y's divided by 5. So 8 minus 3 divided by 5. We get 5 divided by 5, which is 1. Hecka easy. Okay, cool. We'll be able to do this pretty fast. Each Y is going up by 1. 3 plus 1 gets me to 4. So this is a 4. And 4 plus 1 is 5. And 5 plus 1 is 6. And 6 plus 1 is 7. And 7 plus 1 is 8. And everything is working. And our answer for point P is 4 to 6. You probably need to review this. This is one of the hardest ones on this test. If your teacher even did it, it's possible your teacher didn't do it. I like to do it right away because I think it's like segment addition, but that doesn't mean your teacher did. Try this one, not as hard. Each figure shows a triangle with one of its angle bisectors. There's one triangle here with one angle bisector. Bisectors split things exactly in half. That's what you need to know. So if the measure of angle 2 is 65, you're supposed to find GEF, which is the whole thing. Well, if this one is 65, this one is 65 too. So all you got to do is add those two things together and we will know the entire angle, GEF. Just add them up. Boom, we're done with that one. That was a nice break. A little more complicated. Give it a shot. All right, that blue line is an angle bisector, so we know what that means. We know that these two angles are going to be equal to each other, which means these algebra chunks are going to be equal to each other too. So 2 plus 5x equals 4x plus 7. That's the geometry. Now we do the algebra. For me, 4x is smaller than 5x, so I like to subtract that one first. And I'm going to end up with 2 plus 1x equals 7, because the 4x's cancel. And no, you don't have to draw a 1 in front of it, but I do that just to be super clear. Subtract 2 from both sides, and you end up with x equal to 5. Are we done? Are we done? Did we have to solve for x? No, they actually want to know how big angle 2 is. So let's substitute that 5 back in there. We've got 2 plus 5 times the 5. 2 plus 25, because 5 times 5 is 25, and we end up with angle 2 equals 27. If you get a little bit tired, you're going to probably go 5 and 5 and put a 10 here. Be careful. You're multiplying, but every brain gets tired, so stuff like that will happen. I'm going to give you a couple choices here. You can go back and review a lesson to get ready for your actual real-life test, or if you are ready to move on, here is the next lesson. See you guys next time. Bye.